Have you ever wondered what is the difference between people who are hyper successful and people who struggle their way through life? Have you ever wondered, like why does it look so effortless for some people to make a fortune while other people struggle to eke out a meager existence? On this video today, I'm going to talk about Myron's millionaire mentality. I'm going to talk about my millionaire mindset and my millionaire mentality. How did I go from this guy who was a trash man making $6.25 an hour, 9.50 an hour overtime to making literally seven figures a month? How did I do that? Well, I'm going to share with you the four biggest financial breakthroughs in my mindset in my life. So I'm going to give you a formula. The formula is mindset times skill set times tool set equals assets. And as my friend Daniel Priestley says so eloquently in his book, Oversubscribed, income follows assets. So if you desire to have more income, you have to have more assets. And so mindset times skill set times tool set equals assets. But the most important one of those is mindset. If you have the skill set without the mindset, you won't use it. If you have the tool set without the mindset, you won't know how to use it. But if you have the mindset and you don't have the skill set and you don't have the tool set, you will get the tool set. You'll figure it out. You'll figure out the skill set if you have the mindset. And so on this video, I'm going to share with y'all my four biggest major financial breakthroughs of my life. And then I'm going to do something I've never done before on a live YouTube. I'm going to open it up for questions. I just thought of this morning. That's why it wasn't scheduled. It just came to me. It occurred to me. Wouldn't it be fun to teach people my four biggest financial breakthroughs right here, December 1st, 2023, before we go into 2024, so you can go into 2024 with some momentum, right? And so then I'm going to have my team put a Zoom link in the chat so that those of you who are watching, if you have a question for me, we're going to bring you on Zoom, bring you on YouTube Live. You're going to get to ask me your question live. I'm only going to do, I don't know how many we're going to do, but I'm going to do a couple. You're going to ask me questions live. After I teach these four breakthroughs, you may want to ask me a question about one of the breakthroughs. You may want to ask me a question about something else. My favorite book or what I like to do in my spare time, golf. So we'll save that question. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down my four biggest financial ahas. First and foremost, that I believe if you will adopt these beliefs, it will take your life to another level. We've got folks in studio. We got folks on YouTube. This is like a last minute, just go live because I felt like it and felt like it might be a good thing for me to do for people. So before I go into that, I want to say this. Why am I talking so much about mindset? Because I heard Tony Robbins say a long time ago, he said, if you want to duplicate any form of human excellence, find someone who's doing the thing you desire to do and model three things from that person. How many things? Talk to me, everybody. How many things? Three. Model three things from those people. Number one, he said, model their belief systems. I believe that our beliefs create our life, and more than the circumstances that have happened to us, and more than the things we know, and more than any other factor, the biggest determining factor of how our life works out is, what do we believe? Okay, y'all tracking? Okay, so number one, model their belief systems. Number two, model their physiology. Physiology is how they carry themselves, how they move themselves in space and time. It's whether or not they look people in the eye. Do they talk really, really slow? Do they talk really, really fast? Like, are their emotions really big and animated, or are emotions really constricted and restricted? And so you model the belief systems of somebody who's achieving what you'd like to achieve. You model their physiology. You carry yourself the way they carry themselves. And the third thing he said, you model their mental syntax. Syntax is the order in which we fire off messages in our brain. We may be firing off the same messages in our brain, but if we're firing them off in a different order, we're coming to a different result and we're coming to a different conclusion. If I say to you, the dog bit Johnny, right? I use four words. The dog bit Johnny. That's four words. It has a meaning. But if I say Johnny bit the dog, Johnny bit the dog, I use the same four words, but it has a totally different meaning. So we have to not just fire off the right messages in our brain, but we have to fire off the right messages in our brain in the right order. Are y'all tracking? Let me hear you say I'm tracking. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to give you my beliefs. I believe that rich people are not rich because we have money. Rich people have money because we are rich. So becoming rich shows up before the money shows up. Okay. Now, what does that even mean? Okay. I'm going to break it down. What happens is we have beliefs about money, and our beliefs create our life. And so what you believe about the primary purpose for money, and I left all my money in my closet in my office. Can you grab my wallet out of my closet, Karina? Okay. So what I believe about the purpose of money is going to determine how much money I make, how much money I keep, how much money I have, whether or not my money's working for me or whether or not I'm working for my money. My beliefs are the thing that determine that. And so I'm going to give you three different beliefs about money. I'm going to give you the poor person's belief. I'm going to give you the middle class person's belief. I'm going to give you the wealthy person's belief about money. So the poor person believes that the primary purpose of money. So if you're taking notes, I'm going to say it again. The poor person believes the primary purpose of money is paying bills. Okay. So if you believe the primary purpose of money is to pay bills, and all of your thoughts about money are, how can I make enough money to pay my bills? You will always be poor. Now, you can be poor and be thinking about how you're going to pay your bills, but until you change your focus on the purpose of money, you will never have more money than just barely enough money to pay your bills. It's just how it works. Okay. By the way, can I give you a little mindset hack for that, or a way to do that? So pick a number like of monthly income, an amount of monthly income that in your mind would be a good amount. Okay. And that would be really nice for you to have, and then double it. Okay. Everybody got that number? Okay. So, I want you to pretend that you made that amount. Let's say a good number in your mind was $6,000. Man, if I just made $6,000, I'd be okay. Okay, cool. That's good. So then you double it, it's 12,000. Okay. And then you say, okay, by the end of 24, my business is only going to be at 12,000 a month. So you take the number that you thought was twice as big as a good number, and you put only in front of that number. And so now you're taking that number that you used to think was big, and now you're making it smaller. And when you make it smaller, that makes you bigger. So people say, like, Myron, how much does your business do? Our business only does, like, on average, 1.3, 1.4, 1.6 million a month. Only. Now, if you don't understand what I'm doing, you'll think I'm trying to flex. But what I'm doing is I'm programming my subconscious mind not to think that $1.5 million a month is a lot of money. Why? Because I learned something before I ever had my first $1 million year. I learned this principle. Seldom will I make as much as, never will I make more than the amount I allow myself to think of as a lot of money. I'm going to say it again. Seldom will I make as much as, never will I make more than the amount I allow myself to think of as a lot of money. So if you desire to make six figures, you can't afford to think six figures is a lot of money. If you desire to make seven figures, you can't afford to think seven figures is a lot of money. Even before you start making that amount of money, you have to turn it into an only in order for it to even become a possibility or a likelihood. Hopefully that makes sense. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Yes? Okay. So poor people think the primary purpose of money is for paying bills. So they think, it can stay there. It can stay there. It's just, I was looking for something in my wallet. I lost a $5,000 check, and but it's okay. It was made out to me in the bank, so nobody can cash it. So if you think the primary purpose of money is to pay bills, you're going to work really, really hard. If you make $25 an hour, you're going to work 4 hours to make one of these. If you make $20 an hour, you're going to work 4 hours to make one of these. And then as soon as you get it, you're going to hand it over to somebody else. So I want you to really wrap your mind around what I'm about to say. For most people, payday is not really payday. It's just transfer day. And so if you desire to create wealth, you have to stop letting payday be transfer day. You got to make sure payday is a day, not just your bills get paid, but that you get paid. Hopefully y'all track it. Okay. Okay. So that's the first one. Poor people think the primary purpose of money is paying bills. Middle class people think the primary purpose for money is paying their bills on time so they can maintain good credit. So now they can buy things they don't have enough money for because they can buy them on credit and pay the payments on time. So they think the primary purpose of money is maintaining good credit so they can buy things they can't afford, don't need, so they can impress people they don't know. And half of them don't like you anyway. Okay. So that's what middle class people and poor people think are the primary purpose for money. Most of most of the money of poor people goes to paying bills. Most of the money of middle class people goes to buying what I call WRLs. What's a WRL? A wealth reducing liability. Most of the money of rich people, even before you are rich financially, If you develop this mindset, you can get, everybody listening to me, you can get rich today just by changing what you believe about the primary purpose for money. You can go from being a poor person to a rich person today. And here's how. You believe that the primary purpose of money is to turn it into what I call an IPA. What's an IPA? An income producing asset. So the primary purpose of money is to make more money. So my primary purpose when I get $100 is to turn it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, $1,000. Now, if I can turn 100 into 1,000, now this money, I held on to it. See, I don't save money for the purpose of saving money. I hold on to money long enough for it to get pregnant and have some babies. And I never spend the mama money. I only spend the baby money. So I don't spend the money I make to pay bills. I only spend the money my money makes or my businesses make to make money, to pay bills. I don't work for money to pay bills. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to work to build an asset that will crank out enough cash to pay all my bills. So my assets pay for everything in my life. I'm gonna go into deep discussion with that with you in a little bit. That's gonna be my last breakthrough that I'm gonna share with y'all. That's gonna be the breakthrough that has made me the most money in the shortest period of time. My last financial breakthrough. Okay, so when I determined, when I said, okay, from now on, for the rest of my life, I'm gonna believe the primary purpose of money is to turn it into more money. My life started to change. In fact, it wasn't very long after that. In fact, it was 4 months after I came to that conclusion, after I made that decision. See, I didn't realize the day I decided that, I didn't realize I was rich then because the money hadn't showed up yet, right? So I still thought I was broke, but I wasn't broke. Well, middle class. I wasn't really broke. I was middle class. I thought I had good credit. I could pay my bills on time and I could buy stuff I couldn't afford with money that I borrowed. So I was middle class, right? And so, but the day I decided, okay, I am going to start focusing on using my money to create and build income producing assets, my life changed. That was in January of 1999. By April of 1999, now let me give you a little backstory. I made an income in 1998, $48,000 from all of the sources of income that I had back then. I had basically 3 sources of income. I had a little part-time business. I was on salary because I was a senior pastor of a church. And I had a tape ministry where I'd go and preach at other places and I'd sell tapes of my sermons. So and I had a little part-time business. Okay, so I had three assets, but I wasn't really focused on them. I was just focused on doing my main thing. So I made $48,000 that year. Well, in September of 1998, I resigned from the church and I started focusing more on my business and I started focusing more on just traveling as an evangelist. Well, by April of 1999, I made $6,200 in a week. Now you got to understand, $48,000 was the most in 1998. That was the most money I'd ever made in my life. $48,000 for the year, and that $48,000 a year is an average of $4,000 a month. And all of a sudden, in April, after I decided I'm going to focus on assets and not liabilities, and not focus on paying bills, when I decided my primary focus for money was turning into more money, by April of that year, I had a $6,200 week, which brought me to my second major Myron's Millionaire Mindset breakthrough. What was it? It was that it's easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make a little money over a long period of time. I am telling you, that belief changed everything for me. Like, it didn't change almost everything. It changed everything. Because when I realized that it's easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than to make a little money over a long period of time, I decided in that moment, for the rest of my life, I was no longer going to look at and I was no longer going to look for the hard ways to make a little bit of money. I'm only giving attention and intention to the easy ways to make a lot. Now, I didn't know how much that decision was going to change my life, but it changed my life in such a great way that by July of the same year, I made $8,000 in one day. I was like, oh, it's real. It really is easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than to make a little money over a long period of time. It's fascinating to me now, right? But I think, oh my goodness, I made $8,000 in a day. I mean, some days, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, like, now, some days we make $8,000 before I wake up in the morning. Time I go to bed at night, before I wake up, we made $8,000. But back then, that was like, oh, it works, right? It changed everything. And so I doubled down on my belief that it's easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make a little money over a long period of time. Like, if you will decide that the primary purpose of money is to turn it into more money, and you will believe that it's easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make a little money over a long period of time, and you will decide that you're no longer going to look at the hard ways to make a little bit of money, and you're no longer give attention or intention to the hard ways to make a little bit of money, but only give attention and intention to the easy ways to make a lot. It'll change your life for the rest of your life. Like, I'm not giving you a speech. I'm just talking to you about what changed my life and about how my brain works when it comes to money. And it works very differently than other people's brains. I was talking to my brother this morning, and so I'm hyper intentional about words. Like, I'm hyper intentional about words. Like, and sometimes I'm very misunderstood because I'm so hyper intentional about words. So my brother said, "Yeah, what's that other thing you said you were going to try to do?" I said, I promise you, I didn't say I was going to try to do anything. Like, try is like a curse word to me. I don't try to do anything. Try? I'm going to try to? I said, I'm not trying to be obtuse. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I can guarantee you I didn't say I was going to try to do anything. I either said I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it, but I did not say I was going to try. Okay. So I'm hyper. And so sometimes, like, if I said that to some people, they think I'm just being a jerk, but I'm not being a jerk. I can't let you tell me I said something that I would never say. Is what I'm saying making sense? Okay. So I started focusing on the easier ways to make a lot of money. And now, like, last year was our best year ever. In the last 3 years, 2021, 2022, and 2023, we made the Inc. 5000 fastest growing businesses in America. We were in the top 10% of the Inc. 5000 fastest growing businesses in America. We were number 427 out of 5,000 businesses over a 3-year time period. That's relatively significant. Okay. So, but that's because of these two things I just shared with y'all. Now, the third one, I'm not, okay, just so y'all are on YouTube, Larry, did you already put the Zoom link on there? Okay, put the Zoom link in there so people can start getting on deck. Okay, because I'm going to open it up for questions here for those of you on YouTube and those here in the audience here in a few minutes. And we're going to alternate back and forth. And okay, we got plenty of time. So I'm going to wrap it up probably around 10:45, 11 o'clock. So if y'all want to ask me a question, get ready. Larry's getting ready to put the Zoom link in the chat, and then you're going to be live on YouTube with Myron Golden. As I said that if it meant something, only because it was so much fun to do that. Okay, so the third one, like, this is not just a financial breakthrough, this is just a life breakthrough. And it helped me realize, so before I even tell you that, some of you have probably heard of Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Some of you probably haven't heard of him. He wrote a book. He and Dan Sullivan wrote a book called 10. They wrote a lot of books together, but they wrote a book called 10x is easier than 2x. Well, 10x and so I heard Dr. Ben speaking at a mastermind I was at in Mexico last year, and he was teaching us 10x is easier than 2x. I was like, this is so crazy, because, like, literally a couple weeks before that, I learned this new principle, right? And so he's teaching on 10x is easier than 2x, and you don't 10x by doing 10 times as much. You 10x by removing 80% of the stuff you're doing, because it won't get you to a 10x result, right? You have to do something totally different than what you're doing, not more of what you were doing, right? And so when he got done, he was asking questions. I was like, I have a question. He's like, I said, you were talking about the Pareto principle and the Pareto distribution, blah, blah, blah. I said, is this similar to Price's Law? He said, I'm not sure. I've never heard of Price's Law. What is it? And so I explained it to him. He's like, oh, that's really good. And so we had this really fun conversation about 10x is easier than 2x and Price's Law. And Price's Law is game changer, game changer, game changer. One of the biggest breakthroughs of my life. I'm going to go over on my blackboard. I'm going to draw it. After I take this hot jacket off, I'm going to draw it on the board for y'all. You're going to be blown away. I'm already blown away thinking about Price's Law. So Price's Law states, and I'm talking about money, so I'm going to use a dollar sign, states that 50% of the production of any domain is produced by, I think this is how you draw it, the square root of that domain. So by the square root of that domain. Okay, so 50% of the production of any domain is produced by the square root of that domain. So that's the principle. Now, what does that even mean? Because it sounds like a word salad until you get into it, right? It means if you have if you have 4 tomato plants, half of the tomatoes, like half, two of the tomato plants will produce 50% of the tomatoes. Well, that makes sense because 2 is 50% of 4, right? But watch what happens when you take the square root to, so 2 is the square root of 4. 2 times 4, square root means the number squared, the number times itself, right? So 2 times 2 is 4, so 2 is the square root of 4. Well, if I take this and make the square root 3, then 3 times 3 is 9. So if you have 9 tomato plants, 50% of the tomatoes are going to be produced by 3 plants. But we're not farmers, we're entrepreneurs. So let's turn it into a business, okay? If you have 4 salespeople, half of the salespeople are going to make 50% of the commissions, the other half are going to make the other 50%. If you have 9 salespeople, 3 of them are going to make half of the commissions. The other 6 people have to split the other 50%. Okay, let's take this number and ramp it up really big. Let's call this 10. 10 times 10 is 100. If you have 100 salespeople, 50% of the commissions are going to be made by 10 people. What? Now, let's take it from salespeople. Let's take it to businesses. If you have 10,000 businesses in a town, 10,000 businesses in a town, 100 times 100 is 10,000. 100 of those businesses will produce 50% of the GDP, gross domestic product, of that town. Okay, cool. So what are we noticing? Here's what we're noticing. We're noticing the bigger the square root gets, the smaller the percentage that produces half of the production gets. Okay, so in America, there are 30 million businesses. Okay, there are 30 million businesses in America. 30 million. The square root of 30 million is, I think it's 5,477. That means out of 30 million businesses, 5,477 of them produce half of the gross domestic product of the United States. They make 50% of the profits. They get 50% of the revenue. And the other 29,994,533 get the rest, get to split the rest. Now, say, Myron, what does that have to do with anything? What do we learn from this? My takeaway from this, by the way, I'm not saying this is a conclusion Price came up to when he figured this thing out. This is a conclusion I came to when I learned it. Mediocrity scales exponentially, but excellence scales incrementally. If you look at the best of the best in any arena, it doesn't matter if it's sports, it doesn't matter if it's medicine, it doesn't matter if it's academia, it doesn't matter if it's business, you're going to see that there are a few people who are so much better than everybody else, it's like they don't even exist. Like, how is it in our lifetime, there's one Michael Jordan. In a generation, there's either a Wilt Chamberlain or a Michael Jordan. There might be 4 or 5 players that are so much better than everybody else that everybody else in the arena says, I hate it when I have to play that person. There's a Jack Nicklaus and then there's a Tiger Woods. There was a Bobby Jones. And it's not like there are, why? Because mediocrity scales exponentially. But excellence only scales incrementally. Why is that? I don't know, but it seems like that could be because most people are willing to do what it takes to be a part of the mediocre many, but almost nobody's willing to do what it takes to become one of the fantastic few. And if you will decide you're going to be one of the fantastic few in your arena, here's the beautiful part. There's very little competition at the top of the heap. Most of the competition is fighting for the scraps at the bottom of any arena. So if you decide, I'm going to spend 4 to 10 times preparing for the same, I'm going to spend 4 to 10 hours preparing for every hour I spend performing, you will be one of the best of the best. But almost nobody's willing to do that. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? This thing rocked my world because I'm like, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to be one of the fantastic few. I know it's going to take more work. I get it. Yeah, I'm all in. I'm doing this. Mediocrity scales exponentially. Excellence only scales incrementally. My question for you is, are you going to be one of the fantastic few? Or are you going to live the rest of your life and be one of the mediocre many? That's a great question. That's a great question I think we should all ask ourselves. Now, the last financial breakthrough that I'm going to share with y'all, and Larry, do we have people on Zoom yet? Or? Go ahead and start it. Yeah, go ahead and start it. They can be. I want them on deck where I can see them. Okay. So so now we're opening up Zoom. We're gonna let folks. The Zoom link, by the way, is in YouTube. So if you want to be brought on and ask me a question, if you have a question you want to ask, like click on the Zoom link, go sign into the Zoom, and then I'll let you ask a question. If nobody on YouTube wants to ask me a question, by the way, when you do, make sure you have your camera on. If you don't have your camera on, we're not going to call on you. So, but just be ready. I see you there, young lady. Just be ready. Okay. So, and we'll have more come up here shortly. Okay, cool. So, and we're going to ask people in the room as well. So this last one, this last financial breakthrough, this is the thing that has made me the absolute most money in the shortest period of time. When I say the most money in the shortest period of time, like this one breakthrough that I'm about to share with you has made me just about $7 or $8 million since June of last year, since June of 2022. So I'm not, I don't teach, y'all know I don't teach theory. Okay. Don't play with me. Okay. All right. So this one right here, this changes everything. In fact, I'm going to go sit back down because I'm getting a little worked up and I probably need to drink some water. Probably need to drink some water. Say, Myron, why are you being theatrical? Because it's fun. Okay. Here's the conclusion. Here, this breakthrough hit me like a ton of bricks. Poor people and middle class people feel like, everybody say feel like, poor people and middle class people feel like everything is expensive because they pay for things with money they've exchanged their time for. So they feel like everything is expensive because they feel like they're paying for everything with their life because they are. So here's what I mean by that. If you make $20 an hour and you go to the gas station and gas is $5 an hour. I don't know how much gas is, maybe $5 an hour, maybe $7, maybe $3. I don't know. But whatever it is, let's say gas is $5 a gallon. Okay. When you get ready to fill up your car with gas, and let's say it takes 20 gallons, you're asking yourself, you make $20 an hour and it takes 20 gallons times 5, that's $100. Okay. Is this worth 20 hours of my life? Or no, 5 hours. You make $20 an hour. Is this worth 5 hours of my life? Is this tank of gas worth 5 hours of my life? You get ready to buy a car, it's $50,000. If you make $50,000 a year, you're asking yourself, is this car worth a year of my life? Because the only way you learn how to make money from the cultural hypnotic societal mechanism is trade your time for money. Are y'all tracking? Okay. So, rich people, we don't pay for stuff with money we've exchanged our time for. In fact, I'm going to tell y'all something you probably didn't know or potentially didn't know about rich people. We do not work for money. We refuse. First, why do we refuse to work for money? A couple reasons. Number one, working for money is a terrible way to make money. Number two, it's highly inefficient. And number three, there are better reasons to work. So, what do I mean? I don't work for money. So I work to build assets and let the assets pay me. I work to gain experience. That's a good reason for me. For me, you can do whatever you want to do. You're a full-grown adult, right? But I work to gain experience. I work to build an asset. I'll work to build a business. I'll work to develop relationships. I'll work to be a part of something special. I'll work to leave my mark on the world. But the primary reason I work, the number one reason I work is to exercise my godlikeness. The first thing God did for 6 days after he began everything, he worked. So I work because I'm made in the image of God. And as Christ said, my Father works, hitherto I work. Are y'all tracking? Okay, cool. So rich people, here's how we pay for things. Before I tell you how we pay for things, like I'm going to show you something. When you understand what I'm about to show you for the rest of your life, everything will cost the same amount. Did y'all hear what I just said? For the rest of your life, your car will cost the same amount as your house. Your house will cost the same amount as a bottle of water, which will cost the same amount as a pack of gum, which will cost the same amount as a first-class vacation. Everything will cost the same amount. Why? Because to rich people, everything costs the same amount. My cars, doesn't matter, Mercedes, Rolls Royce, whatever, costs the same amount as this bottle of water or this pack of Tic Tacs. All cost the same amount. Flying on a private jet from here to wherever I want to go, or drinking a bottle of water, pack of Tic Tacs, all cost me the same amount. Why? Because As a rich person, we pay for things. Write this down exactly as I said it. Do not translate it into your language. Okay. Rich people, we pay for things according to our creativity. I'm going to say that again. We pay for things according to our creativity. Notice I did not say we pay for things with our creativity. I didn't say we pay for things from our creativity. I didn't say we pay for things out of our creativity. Why? Because if I had said any one of those things, we would have less creativity after we paid for it than we had before we paid for it. So if you're poor, buying things makes you poorer. If you're middle class, buying things makes you poorer. When you are rich, buying things, like literally buying things you just want to use, buying a new set of golf clubs, buying a new car, buying an island, buying a mountain, buying a plane, actually makes you richer. I'm going to prove that to you in a minute. How many of y'all like the sound of that, but it sounds a little confusing, right? Okay, I'm going to prove it to you in a minute. Okay, so here's what we do as rich people. We pay for things according to our creativity. When I want to buy something, like I already told you, I don't want to take some of my money that's over there having babies. I don't want to take it out of money maternity ward and go spend it on something, right? So what I do, I leave it in the money maternity ward. So I want to go buy a new car. What do? I'll create an offer and I'll pay for the new thing that I want to buy with an offer that I create. So for instance, I created this offer in 2006. See this offer right here? It's called From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, How Anyone Can Get Rich Starting From Anywhere. I created this offer in 2006. Now, I created this offer according to my creativity. But once I created it, it was done. Now all we have to do is let people know we have it, and then people come buy this. People come and buy this book from me every single day. We don't sell a ton of them. We only make about $7,000 or $8,000 a month from this book. How many times did I write the book, y'all? How many times did I write the book? One time. How often do you get paid for it? Every day. Why? Because I created the offer. This is an offer. I created it, wrote the book, told people this is what it'll do for you if you buy it. That's the offer. If you give me some money, I'll give you this book, and this book will help you never be broke again because it'll teach you financial literacy, Myron style. Okay, cool. This book right here, I wrote this book in 2021. How long ago was that, y'all? 2 years ago, I wrote this book. This book makes me between $30,000 and $40,000 a month. This book, paperback book, 172 pages, makes me between $30,000 and $40,000 a month. Why? Because this is an offer that I created that pays for whatever I wanted to pay for. Okay, right? Now, here's what's cool. There are different kinds of offers. So I had a really traumatic experience in 2022, two of them that were really traumatic. One, I was going to Dallas, Texas to speak at a conference on American Airlines, nonstop flight, and they lost my suitcase. I'm speaking at the conference the next day. Fortunately for me, when I travel, I always travel in a suit. So I had on a suit, but they lost my suitcase. Guess what my suitcase had in it? My suit, right? Okay. And they lost my suitcase. They said, oh, don't worry, Mr. Golden, we'll bring it to your hotel tonight. It never showed up. Next morning I called, no, we can't find it. Literally, I filled out paperwork when I got to the airport. When I got back home, I had to fill out paperwork again. They called me 2 months later and said, hey, if you don't come, we need you to come back and fill out this paperwork. We can't find your bag. Like, if you fill out the paperwork, we may be able to find it, but if you don't fill it out, you might not ever see it again. I said, well, I'm never going to see it again because I'm not filling out any more paperwork. Y'all have already wasted enough of my life. And see, I believe that time is not money. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. And you've already wasted my money by throwing away my suitcase and my biohacking stuff and everything that was in it. So I'm not going to let you waste any more of my time by me filling out a paper to get a suitcase with a suit in. I'll just go buy another suit. I'm not doing it. Then 30 days after that, my suitcase shows up on my front door and there's mold on my suit. So that was like, we will inconvenience you airlines at our convenience airlines. Number one, strike one. Now, the next one was on my birthday. My son, who's also an entrepreneur, he rented a yacht for me for my birthday, for me and my family to go out on a yacht on a Sunday afternoon. And I was speaking at an event in Cincinnati and I was flying on Southwest. We will inconvenience you at our convenience airlines. And we will not even attempt to make it up for you. And they can't, like the first flight, there was something wrong with the plane. So I was going to miss my connecting flight. So I'm going to get back home at 4:00, but the yacht's leaving at 1:00 and my son's already paid for it. That's not happening. So I had to go buy new tickets for me and my whole team. I think it was about $7,000 worth of tickets I had to go buy. And then came back home, made it in time for the yacht. But on that flight, on Delta, we will inconvenience you at our convenience airlines. on my way home, I said, I will never do this again. I will never fly commercial again. I made that decision. I had never flown private. I had never looked into flying private. I didn't know how much it cost to fly private. I just knew I wasn't flying commercial no more. I'll walk to Las Vegas. I'll walk to Los Angeles, but I ain't getting on another one of y'all airplanes. I'm done. I'm through. It's a wrap. Y'all ever get fed up with something? Well, I was fed up. So I thought I had a trip coming up in 2 weeks. I thought it's going to cost, I don't know, $25,000, $30,000 fly to Las Vegas for me and my team, go do this event. I'm going to make a couple $1,000,000 anyway. It doesn't matter. I'll pay $20,000 or $30,000, $25,000, $30,000 to go fly to Las Vegas. So I called my friend Gary. He has access to a jet and he's a pilot. Hey Gary, you're the only guy I know that has a jet. I'm not flying commercial anymore. Can you help me get a jet from Tampa to Las Vegas? He said, yeah, but it's going to cost about $60,000. I said, it's going to cost how much? And then he said something to me that changed my life forever. He said, yeah, you got to put your big boy pants on if you're going to fly private. I said, I only have big boy pants. Get the jet. Right? I had an attitude. Now I got an attitude, right? So anyway, so I flew to Las Vegas. At that event, I met a guy who owns a charter jet company and found out that I could buy a jet card, 50 hours of private jet time on a heavy duty private jet, G4, like that'll hold anywhere from 9 to 14 people for only $11,000 an hour. $550,000. I can fly 50 hours. So it's 11,000 an hour. I'm like, sign me up. And we got light jet cards too if you just want to fly to Atlanta or Miami, and it's $275,000. Okay, sign me up for that too. Right? Now, what did I do? Did I take money out of the maternity ward to pay for that? Oh no, baby. That money is busy over there having them babies. Y'all, you keep having them babies. You know what I did? I created an offer. Remember I said we pay for things according to our creativity? I created an offer for high-level entrepreneurs who are stuck at $200,000 a month, $300,000 a month, $500,000 a month, but they're smart enough to know that even though they're making that much money, they're stuck. And I created a $200,000 VIP day. They get to spend the day with me for $200,000. Okay. Guess what? In June, I sold 2 of them. In October, I sold 16 more. That's $3.8 million. I spent $1.7 million on private jet cards that year. I got paid $2.2 million profit because I decided to fly private. And that's what I mean when I say when rich people buy stuff, we get richer. Because I created the offer. I made the money from the offer. I spent the money from the offer, but I still had the offer. Oh, snap. See, if I sell my car, I can only sell my car one time. I can only sell my house one time. But if I create an offer, I can sell it over and 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 over again. Oh, baby. Hear me when I tell you, this changed my life. I said, I ain't never going to be sane. So guess what I did? You say, well, how did you sell so many in October? Because I told them this is the last time you're going to be able to get this at this price. The price is going up to 350, 400, 500,000. This is the last time you will ever be able to buy this VIP day for $200,000. So 16 people bought it. Okay, cool. So then the very next month, I sold my first one for $350,000. Then sold another one for $350,000. And I just kept selling. So I created an offer to pay for my private jet travel. Guess what else I did? When people want me to come speak at their event, because I bought that private jet travel for me. I didn't buy that private jet travel for you. So when somebody wants me to come speak at their event, I charge them $11,000 an hour there and $11,000 an hour back. So they pay for my travel that I used up on my private jet card. So because I decided I'm going to buy something that I didn't want to spend my money on, I created an offer that helped me pay for that thing, and my life has never been the same. And at $350,000, I think we've sold at least 10 of them at $350,000, and we also have $1 million offer, and we just sold 2 of those. So it's like I pay for things with offers that I create. How can I create enough value for somebody to make them want to pay me $1 million? I get paid $40,000 an hour for coaching, right? So how do I sell this? How do I make $40,000 a month from this book? Well, you can pay. This book is 2 hours of coaching. Literally, I recorded me coaching a bunch of entrepreneurs for 2 hours. I was going to do the work anyway. Might as well document it. Why? Documentation beats conversation. If I document it, I only have to have the conversation once. I documented it. I had it transcribed. I took the transcript. I sent it to a book editor. She's more like a book architect. She turned the transcript into a manuscript, had a cover designed. Bada bing, bada boom. I have an offer. And now, here are your choices. You can pay me $80,000 to coach you, or you can buy the book that has 2 hours of coaching, which would be exactly what I would coach you on, for $40. I mean, for $30 plus, I said $40. I sell it for $30 plus $10 shipping and handling. So you can do either one. I'll take the $40,000 if you want to talk to me, or the $80,000 if you want to talk to me. But if you want the same information and you don't want to pay $80,000, you buy the book. So that's how I did that. Now, there are 4 different types of offers. I'm going to tell you the types of offers, then I'm going to open it up for questions. There are lead generation offers. When you create an offer, you have to have somebody to sell that offer to. So you need leads. There are lead generation offers. Okay. Then there are core product offers. Right now we're averaging $5,000 to $6,000 a day. Some days we'll do $12,000, $15,000, but we average about $5,000 to $6,000 a day in core product offers. What is a core product offer? Core product offer is this book. Another core product offer is this book. I do a challenge called the Make More Offers Challenge. You can see it says right behind me, Make More Offers Challenge. Make More Offers Challenge general admission tickets are $97. VIP tickets are $297. Platinum tickets are $897. We sell about $60,000 to $90,000 worth of a month worth of challenge tickets, right? And the VIP experience, the $297 version, it comes with a 10 times better than money back guarantee. So what happens is I say, look, you come to the challenge. It's 5 days. It's 2 hours a day for 5 days. And you pay me $297. And on Friday, if you don't believe it was worth 10 times what you paid for it, I'm going to give you your money back. Now, there are a couple of caveats. One, you have to have your camera turned on because it's a Zoom. You have to have your camera turned on so I can see you're paying attention, and you just have to do the move. I give you a little bit of homework every day. You have to do the homework every day. You do the homework every day. You watch the video because it's a challenge. It's not a class. I'm not there to teach you something. I'm there to challenge you to become the person who can make the money you desire to make, right? So Make More Offers Challenge. That's a core product offer. Then we have premium coaching offers. We got premium coaching offers for $20,000, $25,000, $55,000, $350,000, $1 million. We got all these different coaching programs. Those are called premium value offers, right? Premium value offers. So you got lead generation offers, core product offers, premium value offers, and the last offers are continuity offers. What's continuity? That's where you sell the thing once, but you get paid on it from now on. So there's monthly continuity, like your Apple Music is a monthly continuity. Your Netflix is a monthly continuity, right? There's annual continuity. If you're an Amazon Prime Video person, that's annual membership, right? Amazon Prime's annual continuity. I have some weekly continuity programs where people pay me $510 a week. So we have a bunch of different continuity. So think about it like this. From our core product offers, we're bringing in about 80 to 90,000 a month. From our continuity offers, we're bringing in a couple $100,000 a month. And from our premium value offers, we bring in a little over $1 million a month. That turns into a pretty decent income. I ain't Bill Gates rich. I ain't Rockefeller rich, but I'm all right. Y'all ain't got to pray for my finances before you go to bed tonight, right? And so there are 4 different types of offers. On the Make More Offers Challenge, I teach, day 1, I teach the lead generation offers. Day 2, I teach core product offers. Day 3, I teach premium value offers. Day 4, I teach continuity offers. Day 5, I teach offer stacking, how to put all those offers together. I give all the people who came a coaching program outline that they can use to go and sell in the marketplace, and it changes people's lives forever. Just so happens, we have a Make More Offers Challenge starting next Monday. If you want to join it, you can go to makemoreofferschallenge.com. Larry can put the link in the Zoom and in the YouTube comments. And then I'm going to open it up for questions. I'm going to start with the people on Zoom. So the first person who raised their hand was, I think, that lady whose phone is turned sideways. I can't see what her name is, but she was the first person there. Yeah, we're going to what's her name? Tyler, can you unmute and you can ask your question? I hope everybody on YouTube will be able to hear it. If not, I will repeat your question. And I want people on YouTube to be able to see the Zoom too, Larry, if you can make that happen. Okay. And then I'm going to go to somebody in the audience afterwards. So, Tyler, how you doing, sister? Excellent. What is your question? By the way, start with my question is, ask the question. If I need background information, I'll ask for it. Don't give me the backstory first, please. Yep. My belief in myself was hopeful. Right. But I quit my 9 to 5 right after I got fired or right before I got fired. They happened so closely together that I don't remember which one happened first. So my wife and I were working at a children's home, And we loved the kids. We just hated the politics. I'm not a good politician. I'm just not good at playing games and acting like I believe something I don't believe. I don't have the ability to, it's not in me. And we got accused of doing something that we didn't do. We got accused of stealing some food. Like, first of all, I don't steal. Second of all, I'm a really smart guy. If I am going to steal, it ain't going to be no food. Okay. So anyway, so they called us into the administration office, and the one administrator's talking, and my wife goes, "Phew." He jumps up and starts screaming at my wife. "You think this is funny, Tony? You think this is funny?" I said, I stood up. I said, "I tell you what, you better not holler at my wife again." He said, "I'm in charge of this meeting." You can be in charge of the whole wide world. You holler at her again, we're going to have some problems in this administration building. And we're going to need some bleach to clean it up. So go ahead, holler. He said, you're fired. I said, "You can't fire me. I quit 20 minutes ago." So that's how I knew it was time to leave my 9 to 5. However, I don't think that's what you meant. So I'm going to answer the question I think you meant as well. So I believe that a person would be better off not leaving their full-time job until, by the way, the question on YouTube, in case y'all couldn't hear her, was how do you know when to leave your 9 to 5? Okay. I would recommend, especially if you don't like your job, stay there until you replace your income with your business, or what people call their side hustle. Now, I say that because nothing will motivate you to build a business that you love like having a job that you hate. And if you lose that job, if you quit that job that you hate, you're going to lose a lot of motivation. Second of all, the hardest time to make a sale is when you have to make one. That job gives you the ability to do a presentation without having what I call commission breath, right? You don't need to make a sale. Like, they can't, you're not desperate because you know you're going to get paid Friday anyway. So I would recommend that you stay at your job, especially if you hate it, until you surpass the income you're making at your job with the business that you have on the side. Hopefully that's helpful. Yes, but it would be easy for you to leave that if you learn how to use your creativity to make money instead of time. And I don't know if you've already registered for the Make More Offers Challenge or not, and if you like, maybe it's not something you can even do, because we do it from the VIP experience is from 11 to noon, and then the general session is from noon to 1. And the general session happens in a Facebook group, so they don't get any interaction with me. But the VIP session happens in a Zoom, and the VIPs get to hear me answer questions for platinums who paid $897. I think it'll be very beneficial. What is your business? What is your business that you're building? Yeah. So yeah, I have an artist. There was a lady in my inner circle with $55,000 program, right? She was an artist. She was a watercolor artist, and she was making a living. She came into my program. She started making like multiple six figures as an artist and an art teacher, teaching people how to do watercolor art. So you don't have to be a starving artist. My recommendation would be to learn how to go from starving artist to starring artist by learning the business of art instead of just the art of art. So hopefully that's helpful, sister. Appreciate you. All right. All right, we're gonna go to in the room. Marima, we're gonna wait for Marima to get the camera ready. Okay, I think it's Alicia has the microphone. Okay, so um, people on you, yeah, that's why I repeated the question. Okay, cool, but they'll be able to hear this one because it's going through our system. Okay, go ahead, Alicia. What's your question?
So, one of the books that you consistently recommend is 10x is easier than 2x,
Okay,
right? So, 10xing your business over 2xing it would be considered an exponential growth, correct?
correct.
So, then how does that compare when we are going over Price's law, stating that excellence scales incrementally?
I don't understand the conflict.
So, in regards to, okay,
What
if,
like what's the conflict between Price's law, excellence? So let me give you an example how to apply Price's law to 10x is easier than 2x.
okay,
Okay, so Price's law is most people in business don't understand the value of their own offer. So they base their offer on something that they would be better off not basing their offer on. For instance, how much time does it take me to fulfill it? That's not a good thing to base your, like, what difference does that make? So as an entrepreneur, one of the things you have to learn to master, which very few entrepreneurs learn to master, is learn how to separate your income generation from time. Okay. Learn the value of your offer. The value of your offer, most entrepreneurs think it's based on the pieces, all the stuff that's in the offer. They think it's based on the product. right? What the thing is that they created, how much expertise and how long it took them to create it, or they think it's based on their person, how much personal time they get. The only value your offer really has is the payoff. What's the payoff? Figure out how much it would, and very few entrepreneurs do this. Figure out how much it's going to cost them to live without your payoff, and then take that payoff, whatever it's worth, whatever it's going to cost them to live without that, divide that by 10. That's what your price should be. Most entrepreneurs' prices are too low because they're trying to compete with other people who they think do the same thing. When you realize there's nobody in the marketplace like you but you, then you can base your price on payoff rather than those other components that we talked about. And that's a Price's Law move. Does that make sense? Okay, good stuff. We're gonna go back. Who's next on the Zoom, Larry? I'm gonna take one more on Zoom and one more in the room, just because I've got a hard stop at 11 o'clock. So who's next, Larry? Daniel what? Daniel Golden. Talk to me, brother. And I'm gonna repeat the question for YouTube, y'all. I can't hear you. Now I can hear you. Yes, talk to me. Start with my question is and ask the question.
Yes, I just mentioned just before I watched your YouTube video, maybe more than 50 of.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciated you using biblical.
But people can't hear you on YouTube. I need you to ask the question. What's the question?
My question is this: you using all biblical principles built in us. Why most of the churches create more people than Christians?
Why do churches create more poor people than rich people? That's a really great question. I believe. Well, when I tell you the answer, a lot of people who are watching this are not going to like it. But it is what it is. So his question was, why do most churches produce more poor people than rich people? Because the pastors don't understand the Bible practically. They understand it traditionally, but not practically. And what I mean by that is, so modern day Christianity, unfortunately, has its roots in Catholicism, and Catholicism has a belief that in order to be righteous, you have to be poor. So the Protestant church adopted that false doctrine. Now, Jewish people don't have that belief, but Protestant people have that belief because most Protestants learned Bible from a Catholic perspective. And Catholics, like, it's a Catholic doctrine that poverty is piety and wealth is wickedness. That is not a biblical doctrine. That's just a religious doctrine. So that's why. And so, and most people who teach the Bible teach it so people can know it instead of teaching so people can do it. I look at the Bible as a practical guidebook to how to live my life. So I believe that's the answer. Okay, I'm going to take one more in the room. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay. Most religions, though, okay, but Satan, okay, so most religions teach poverty because poor people are easier to control than rich people. And religion, I don't, by religion, I'm going to define this. By religion, I mean people coming up with rules that you have to abide by, that they tell you if you do them, you will appease God. But God can only be appeased by God. He's not going to be appeased by you or me, something we do. So hopefully that helps. I'm going to go to one more in the audience. Who's got it? Max, talk to me, brother.
First and foremost, thank you, Myron, for the opportunity to speak and to share your knowledge. I appreciate that. Question is, we all hear the quote, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Okay.
In your journey in entrepreneurship, from building businesses early on in the 80s to where you are now, how has your community and your inner circle, your personal 5 people you hang out with the most, how has that changed and how has that impacted you?
So I think that, wow, that's a really good question, Max, because it made me realize something I haven't talked about much that is really major for me. I think people are too lackadaisical about who they allow to influence them. The scripture says, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but the companion of fools shall be destroyed. I believe that as I've coached people and as I've built my businesses, I believe that the primary number one determining factor as far as perspective between rich people, not rich people, successful people and people who struggle in any arena, not just money, in any arena. The primary difference is people who are hyper successful, they obsess over intention and they ignore distraction. People who struggle their way through life hyper obsess over destruction and ignore intention. And I think the people, if you're hanging around people who heighten your attention on distraction, you're going to struggle your way through life. But if you're hanging around people who heighten your attention on intention, you're going to do so much better. So let me define distraction and intention and not just use those as words. So by distraction, I mean anything you focus on that does not move the needle in your favor. By intention, I mean anything you focus on that does move the needle in your favor. So the thing that I thought of when you asked me that question is how much I personally hate small talk. It's like, I feel like I'm dying. Like if somebody wants to talk to me about something that doesn't matter at all, I feel like I'm being tortured. Right? I hate small talk. And it's like I have a reaction in my body and in my mind and in my nervous system. Like, why? Now, I had that averseness to small talk when I was broke, to the degree I didn't even have a television. I didn't want to see anything on television. I didn't want to know who won. I didn't care who won if I was losing. Like, people who are broke and they're watching other people win and they think they're winning, talking about my team won, you are delusional. You are not on that team. They do not know you exist. Right? And so people, like, it's hard for me to tolerate, it's hard for me to take, people want to give me all the details about a football game, a basketball game, a golf tournament, a baseball game, or whatever, and they're broke. I'm like, how are you watching that and your family is struggling? Why are you having this conversation with me right now? Why are you not going into your creativity and figuring out a way to fix the problems that you have in your life? Like, my daughter's the youngest. We didn't have a television in our house till she was like a television with TV channels. We bought videos that we intentionally wanted to watch that were either educational on biblical stuff for my children or myself, or educational on business stuff for me. We didn't have television. I didn't want somebody telling me my vision, right? The television is the electronic income reducer. So is the phone. You're sitting there scrolling for hours watching how other people are winning on Instagram, and you're broke as a joke and ready to choke. So you have to hang around people who obsess over intention so you can begin to obsess over intention and ignore distraction. I think that's paramount. I appreciate y'all joining me on this live YouTube today. I hope it was beneficial. For those of you who'd like to take the Make More Offers Challenge, by all means, feel free to go to makemoreofferschallenge.com and take it. And if you don't want to take it, that's fine. We don't need to sell any more tickets. I mean, we're going to sell plenty whether you buy one or not. But it could be a pivotal turning point in your life, because just like I'm teaching the stuff on YouTube, the teaching that I do on the challenge is on another level. Right? So I got started as an entrepreneur when I was 25. I'm 62. I've got 37 years in the game of entrepreneurship. I don't even have time. If I did a YouTube video every day for the rest of my life, I would not have enough time in those YouTube videos to teach you everything I know about business. So for those of you who want to come join us on the Make More Offers Challenge, go to makemoreofferschallenge.com and join us. You will be glad you did. If you do the VIP experience, it comes with a 10 times better than money back guarantee. If you buy a general admission ticket, it comes with it. If you buy the ticket, I will have your money guarantee, right? So I just want you to understand that there's no money back guarantee on the general admission ticket, because I can't tell whether you're paying attention or not. So I'm going to do my part. If you do your part and you're not happy, I'd be happy to give you a refund. All right. Hope this was helpful. Go watch this video 20 times. Adopt this mindset. I challenge you. I dare you to come back a year from now and tell me it didn't change your life. All right. In the meantime, in between time, stay blessed by the best. We'll see you in the next video.